independent social media accounts if you want to remain impartial. Besides the activism one, do the impartial one and call it like Live London News or call it along those lines, or your real name even. But do like a proper journalist account covering all protests in London. Technically, what you could do, you could side to the BBC. Yeah. I know. So useful. I'm gonna add it to Facebook soon. So I do 3. I might even do Instagram and TikTok. But one thing, I'm a bit wary about TikTok because they're very sensitive. Especially with even anything which is related to violence on TikTok. Like if someone gets pushed, not even a punch, but a push, and I feel someone pushing someone else, that'll be taken down on TikTok. But like YouTube and yeah. Sure. Yeah, I'd be so happy. Let's definitely meet up somewhere, maybe in a bar or pub. I would love to. I'm free probably this weekend. If you want to come out.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I'll let you know everything and all the stuff that I do because I've been doing this for a long time. So I base what I do off the experience that I got from doing what I do. So instead of going to university, I learn every time I film.
Honestly, it's the best way. I went uni for 4 years.
Yeah.
I didn't learn anything.
Exactly.
I didn't learn anything.
And you probably forget half the lectures.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that university is a bad place. University is good in some instances, depending on what you study.
I wish I didn't go.
Yeah.
I moved country to Cyprus. I had a perfect job.
You went to Cyprus?
Yeah, and I moved back to Greece.
Yeah. So you didn't have a job when you went to Cyprus?
I had a job in Cyprus.
Yeah.
But when I came here, I had to study. I didn't have a job. All my savings went on, the degree.
University, yeah.
And I couldn't get a job out of it. So
Yeah, and also tuition fees,
yeah, exactly. It's ridiculous.
accommodation, everything. Yeah. So you went to Burbank. That's not far from here. Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's great.
The local to the BBC, I guess. Yeah. I'm just going to upload my thumbnail. Yeah, so this broadcast I have? How many watching? Yeah, we're just setting up a live broadcast. I'll be with you in a few moments' time. The crowd is gathering. We got Eleanor here as well. So we'll interview Eleanor outside the BBC. And also there's young Bob from Turning Point UK and Jack from Turning Point UK. So there are a lot of notable people here from that organisation. So yeah, if I go to YouTube Studio here, so what I tend to do to put advert revenue on the stream, mainly I go here, have to click that, it's quite small. Want to double check everything's fine. So it's an automatic high frequency of advert. It saves on here. And I swipe it, yeah. I tend to take the comments away because they can be distracting. If someone makes a joke and I'm looking at that, so I take the comments away.
Going around putting flags.
Yeah.
Quite giving news to
Just for flags? Wow.
Literally,
German man.
No, just for putting flags up, a British flag.
Oh wow.
And he went on to TV News.
That's incredible.
So that's why I'm saying I'm not going to change my, you know, I know I can get into it.
Yeah.
Because I'm a girl, you know, you don't really have girls going out doing things like this.
No.
I think.
It's
So
quite rare these days.
I just need to build my social media up.
Yeah. But once you build the social media,
Did you just follow me? Because
Yeah.
it went up.
really it went up on here. Do you have a bigger account? So that one. So nice. Just because you can see our post all of updates on here. So if I do forget to message you, back on here. I'll have to account. You're getting rid of that. Cool.
This big account blew up because I dance,
Oh, I see.
and I don't want to be related to dance.
Yeah.
I don't want to be conservative.
Oh yeah, that's your normal account, that's your service account.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you add it?
Yeah, that's 123 underneath cover. Yeah.
I'll just message you.
Definitely.
Which one's your journalist?
The one in the blue shirt. Yeah. Good one, May.
And do you always do hybrid?
Yeah, landscape. I feel like it's better doing landscape because if you do the portrait,
I tried
one
it.
gets into the
See, I tried doing it.
portrait's good if you're not live streaming, I think, because I tend to do, especially on YouTube. Oh, you went there?
Yeah.
I was at the front, or near the front.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to set up a banner. Everyone get behind it, please. Speeches will enact accordingly.
Mind just making sure the camera doesn't topple over. If you don't mind holding it, that'd be really kind. Thank you. Okay, we're currently broadcasting live and direct outside the BBC in central London. So as you see, a few protesters have gathered against BBC bias against Charlie Kirk. And it's organised by Turning Point UK. So this protest is taking place outside the BBC, and it's calling the BBC out on various stuff which Turning Point UK are unhappy about, especially alleged bias about Charlie Kirk. But yeah, there's a lot of people here protesting about this. Welcome onto the channel. My name is Louis Errington. I'm an independent journalist, and I cover protests and events across central London, and sometimes outside of London, across the country. So be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification button so you stay notified whenever I go live or upload a new video. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to share this stream with your friends and family. And also hit the bell notification button so you stay notified whenever I go live or upload a new video. There's a lot of protests and rallies and events, demonstrations coming up within the next few days and weeks. So especially with this new digital ID proposal scheme, which Keir Starmer wants to vote through Parliament within the next few months, will ramp up the mood across the UK and especially in the public. So we'll be covering a lot of rallies and demonstrations to do with that as well. So thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy today's live broadcast outside the BBC. We're live and direct. Thank you for tuning in. My name's Louis Errington, and I hope you enjoy this evening's broadcast. Thank you, everyone. That's good. Oh, they got the banner. Get that in shot. Yeah, we're being blocked.
Yes, mate.
Yeah.
Not too bad. How are you?
How are you, Jack? Good to see you, mate.
Yes, well, I want to get some folks at the banner initially, but I need to hold it there. Guys, we get a few more people to hold it up.
Hi, how are you?
Hi!
I saw you earlier. So, this is the huge banner that was created by Turning Point UK, and this is what it says on it. I'll just stand more in the middle so you can see more of the banner. Yeah, so as we see, they have a banner. Yeah, there are going to be speakers for this demonstration. So as we see, we're currently outside the BBC. There's more of an angle.
You know, I flew to Lebanon a few years ago.
Yeah.
3 years ago, and I reported. I was doing a documentary for my dissertation actually, and the uni refused to allow me to go. They refused me to do the documentary because of Lebanon being dangerous. And I was like, but this is the degree. This is why I want to be a war reporter.
Oh, you want to be a war reporter?
So I had to really fight to do it, and I won.
If you're a war reporter,
they took it to.
Please.
Yeah, they took it to NUJ, and I won.
The NUJ backed you?
Yeah, they backed me to do it.
So you can get it.
Oh, brilliant. I'll use that then. I still have the
They backed you.
document.
Yes, use that.
Yeah.
As a big
I'll have to contact the
stepping
uni.
stone. Yeah.
Yeah. And I
The
literally...
NUJ backed you. Did they get a team of lawyers?
The uni said that to me, that they accepted it so I could do it.
Oh, wow.
But I was literally driving and the bomb went off and right in front of my face. Like,
Because there's a lot of controversy with the war stuff.
I know,
I tend not
so
to get
much.
involved in that because of what?
Yeah.
It's a bit risky.
This is such a personal You know what?
Well, that's useful. Got the lighting.
But the buttons don't work.
Really? Oh, do you tend to Bluetooth to your phone? Yeah. The only problem with YouTube is that music, they don't really allow music. Well, they do allow music, but you just can't make money on the music, so I need to delete all the music.
Start moving back a bit and rest the banner on the rest.
Hi, sweetness. How are you?
Oh my god, it's Aiden.
Yeah, nice to see you,
I
son.
should be there because
I'm Ted.
Aiden!
Big
Rolling up time.
Actually, guys, what we'll do, because it's enormous, we'll roll it up and we'll do the speeches and the protests without it. But thank you very much for holding it, everyone. It looks fantastic.
We should get a selfie. Now I've actually got a selfie.
I can't maybe because of this. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
Actually, guys, what we could do is move it round if everyone's happy holding it again, and we hold it opposite the BBC. Is everyone happy with that?
Yeah, that sounds much better.
Do you guys have a channel?
Yeah,
Fabs, get out of here. Oh, there you are. All right, lad. All right.
All right, what's that, mate?
Are you going to see it? Oh, boy. All right. You've got all the right. Oh, fuck it.
It's a huge banner outside the BBC in Portland Place in central London.
Guys, come forward a bit. Look at it.
Right, guys, everyone take a step forward. Take a step forward.
Hannah, straighten up your side. As it come forward a little bit.
Fantastic, guys. We hold it there for a second.
It's a big excuse me, just for one photo, just slightly.
I'm up here with Turning Point UK and others.
Ask him for my imagination. I imagine there's still, because obviously I don't imagine they have a contingency plan. The unfortunate demise of their CEO and essentially the man who kind of was the face of their organisation. But, you know, we're a franchise. We have their name. We do it in our own way because British politics stuff like that mistakes. We have the chapters, our own house, banner designs, and canvas, a lot of stuff. Coming in the next few weeks.
fascist, racist, far-right, Nazi. These are the labels thrown at us daily by media outlets like the BBC. They have the cheek to call us extremists when they are the ones using this polarizing language which puts all of us here in danger. The so-called journalists at the BBC know that by unfairly branding people or organisations as far right, they risk radicals targeting us with serious violence. The worst part is when we are violently attacked by Antifa or Socialist Workers' Party thugs, the BBC will either not report on it, or if they do, they will lie and twist the narrative in their coverage in favour of the violent leftists. It is outrageous that the once prestigious and once respected BBC is no longer neutral and has decided to push a narrative that actively works against the British people, the very people the BBC claim to represent. The BBC has abandoned their principles of freedom of speech and impartiality, instead choosing to become the media wing of the Labour Party. Well, I say, if we can't trust them, we shouldn't be paying for them. So cancel your licence fee. Shame on the BBC.
Yeah.
Say it with me. Cancel your licence fee. Shame on the BBC. Cancel your licence fee. Shame on the BBC.
Cancel your licence fee. Shame on the BBC.
Cancel your licence fee. Shame on the BBC.
Cancel your licence fee. Shame on the BBC.
The left has clearly not learnt their lesson following the unprovoked murder of our founder, Charlie Kirk. In fact, the BBC branded Charlie as far right multiple times on the day of his memorial service. This was at best an effort to downplay the horrific nature of Charlie's murder, and at worst it was the BBC insinuating that the assassination was justified. That, patriots, is unacceptable, and we demand a public retraction and an apology. The BBC will be aware that there is no evidence Charlie was racist. In fact, there's a mountain of evidence proving that he was trying to unite all people against communist tyranny. However, the leftists and liberals in the BBC know they can't defeat Charlie's arguments in a debate, so they resort to libelous smearing and name-calling. Well, in the spirit of name-calling, I say we give them a taste of their own medicine. When I say BBC, you say traitors. BBC!
Traitors!
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 We are very clearly not fascists and Nazis, but neither are we doormats. We will not put up with the endless and baseless smears from the BBC. We demand to be treated with the same respect and dignity we afford to our political opponents. Enough is enough. We demand an end to the bias. Thank you. Up next, we have a fantastic young speaker. Let's hear it for the Turning Point Youth Ambassador, Young Bob.
We're picking up the bloodied microphone of Charlie Kirk. And unfortunately, the first debate that has to be said is whether a poor man's death was justified. And the media machine fueling this narrative is the British Broadcasting Society and the legacy media, pushing the libelous lie that an individual pushing for the American dream, for people to take up the Christian cross, start a business and marry and have children, this sort of mundane conservatism was pushed as a fascist trope. Now, if the BBC won't be non-biased in their reporting, why do we have to be held to the same standard? If I were to libel my opposition as communists, as Marxists, as individuals who knew nothing about the things that they peddle, I would be labelled as a bad actor. But unfortunately, conservatives talking in the UK are on unequal footing. There have been many attempts by Turning Point UK to do chapters and activism within university campuses, but what we're met with is the highest degree of violence that the left would have never been faced with. Threats, fighting, counter-protesting for debates. It is absolutely ridiculous that the legacy of Charlie Kirk has been met with further violence. However, in the legacy of Charlie Kirk and what he would have wanted is not for us to demean ourselves, to make ourselves violent, but rather continue the torch in debating in civil discourse. Because if an individual wants to smack me because what I say on university campuses, it only further emphasises the point that our opposition's position doesn't hold any water and they have the emotional intelligence of children. So at Turning Point UK, we have this philosophical understanding. Debate where we can, debate where we must, but we cannot reason with a lion when his head is in our mouth.
Thank you. Let's hear it for young Bob, everyone. Right, we might have to do a bit of shuffling around. So up next to speak, Freethinker Hannah. Let's hear it for Freethinker Hannah, everyone.
Okay, so Charlie Kirk was not far right. He was a family man. He preached faith and he preached freedom. That is not far right. Far right is something like Nick Fuentes. Charlie Kirk was a moderate. And when people like the BBC propagandize to millions of people in this country, disseminating to not just to the UK, but the whole world, you are directly responsible for creating the false perception in millions of people that we are extremists or that we're bigoted. I'm going to read for you some statements that Charlie Kirk has made, and you're going to tell me if you think they're far right. Are you ready? Get married to one person and stay married to that person. Is that far right?
No!
Are you sure? Do you know how we heal our divides? By talking with people we disagree with. Is that far right?
No!
Are you sure?
Yeah!
Right. If we stop talking, we will get into physical combat, and I don't want that. Is that far right?
No!
Are you sure?
Yeah!
It's just right.
Thank you. Now, forgive your enemies. Is that far right?
No!
Are you sure?
Yeah!
Right, fun fact, that was also Jesus. Jesus also said, forgive your enemies. And last but not least, before he died and his assassination on his ex-post, his last ex-post was Jesus defeated death so you could live. Is that far right?
No!
I'm glad that we can all agree on that much. Okay, so when you call moderate views far right, you're polarising the country. And it's one thing if you're saying it in a pub and no one cares, or your social media with your little following or whatever, but when you're paying, when the British taxpayer is paying you to broadcast the news, and you decide to tell the whole country that Christian values are far right, I've got a problem with you. We will turn up outside your postcode and we'll let you know what's going on, peacefully. Charlie's values were Christian values, not far right values. Do we agree on that?
Yeah!
Thank you. Now, more than Charlie wants you to be at a protest, he wants you to get involved, he wants you to go to church, right? The St. George's flag is inspired by the crucifix, the Jesus Christ cross, where he died. This country, I don't care what they say, is a Christian country. It's a Christian country, everyone. We go to protest and we go to church. I was there last Sunday, I'll be there this Sunday, and every Sunday after that. In the kids' church, volunteering with the kids. If not on the media team, if not with the ushers, because this is a Christian country. We don't just turn up when somebody dies, we keep turning up to keep spreading our values and keep spreading the gospels of Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Charlie Kirk wants you to go to church. And these two things, I'm going to leave you with this, these two things that you signal when you turn up at these protests like this. Two things. Number one, you are not lazy and bored and distracted by the mundane routine of your regular boring lives. You will turn up and do something about it. When you stand outside these institutions, that's exactly what you do. Number two, which really should be number one, you are signaling to God that you're serious about wanting him back in this country. You're not just saying, oh no, what's going on in this world? It's so terrible. Reshare, retweet, like, comment, subscribe. You are turning up in the physical locations, which does something in the spiritual realm. They encircled Jericho for 7 days, and they shouted, and the whole walls collapsed. In the Bible, read the Bible. Being physically present and spiritually present matters in these battles because it's not the BBC we're up against. This is a spiritual battle. Everyone knew it was a spiritual battle because as soon as Charlie Kirk was assassinated, everyone and their nan went to church. Didn't even know your nan was a Christian. But we went to church. And I'll go to church before and after anyone that I love is assassinated. That's why Charlie Kirk's movement doesn't die, and that's why they're afraid of us. Because we're not Charlie Kirk supporters, we're not the far right. We're Christians. We were here 2,000 years ago, and we'll be here 2,000 years after this. His kingdom is forever. Straight facts, no cap. Thank you very much. Thank you.
His kingdom is forever. Let's get that right.
Let's hear it again for Free Thinker Hannah, everyone.
Well done, Hannah.
Right, guys, I'm conscious everyone's arms are probably aching a little bit. But before we go, is everyone happy to do a few more chants?
Yeah.
Excellent. When I say BBC, you say traitors. BBC.
Traitors!
BBC.
Traitors!
BBC.
Traitors!
BBC.
Traitors!
BBC.
Traitors!
BBC. BBC.
Traitors!
BBC.
Traitors!
BBC.
Traitors!
When I say shame on the BBC, you say cancel the licence fee. Shame on the BBC!
Cancel the license fee!
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 Thank you very much, everyone. Give yourselves a round of applause. As much as you can. Right, guys, thank you everyone for coming. What can do? Can we lay the banner on its side? And then from one end, if we roll up. Battle of Wills here, who's going to go first? No, we'll roll up from this end, Hannah, don't worry, and then we'll come across to...
Right, two guys straight, and then just roll it, or three actually, up in the middle, and just roll it as tight as you can. That went well. You should have good past them.
Hi there. How are you? You okay? It's very good to see you. Yeah, nice to see you. Yeah, so I'm just freelance on YouTube. So in terms of today's protest and the importance and significance of it.
Yeah, not really taking interviews.
Should we get the BBC background if that's okay?
Not really taking interviews if you don't mind, sir.
Sorry?
Not really taking interviews if you don't mind, sir.
If what, sorry?
I'm not taking interviews if you don't mind.
Oh, you
yeah,
don't?
Yeah, just not at the minute.
Sorry?
Just not at the minute, sir.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Later? Or...
Yeah, just not at the minute, sir.
Okay, sure. Okay, no worries.
Are you part of
Sorry?
Point yourself?
No, I'm just myself. I just came to cover this.
Okay.
As I do with many others. So I cover many other protests, Palestine, Israel, all sorts of stuff I cover. So yeah, this is one of many
really a
protests.
citizen journalist, yeah?
Freelance independent, so just cover everything.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All sorts of stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is one of many stuff I'll be reporting on, basically.
There's a lot going on.
Very busy, yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
mainly in London?
Yeah,
or?
mainly, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Sometimes just outside, depends really.
Right.
but
Okay. Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. Good. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
good. Yeah, it's horrific what happened with Charlie. Yeah. We have. We were last year. We were in front of the BBC. Sorry, if you're busy there.
Quickly try get an interview.
Yeah.
Hi. How are you? Louis, nice to meet you. How do you do? Very good speech, by the way. So is it okay if we can get the background of the BBC? Just to set the scene and...
They know we're outside their building.
Yeah.
They know that we're right here where you work. We
Yeah.
know where you work.
Pass the mic to you. Talk to the camera. And why do you think it's important that people should be down here to protest against, from your point of view, why and where's the evidence that there is actually bias in the BBC?
Well, should I hold it? Yeah. Okay. So the reason there is bias is because you've labelled him far right, and that is an opinion. That is not a fact. He's a political figure. You could say right-wing political figure, but to say he's far right, even though he had moderate views, is false, and that affects Christians because that affects how people perceive us. They are paid. It doesn't matter if you are a private company or you're a private person, but when you are paid by the British taxpayer to spread lies about Christianity, now you're involving me. Now, I mean, if it were up to me in my boring life before, I would have just had a boring life, but now you're attacking me directly. A shot fired at Charlie Kirk is a shot fired at all of us. And there are over 2 billion Christians in the world, BBC. Do not make an enemy out of us.
And in terms of this protest today and with the BBC, specifically outside the BBC, why did you choose the BBC? Is it because that you guys thought that there was bias, and where would the evidence for the bias be? In particular, was anything said online about it from the BBC or on TV, for example?
Yeah, so they broadcasted in the wake of his assassination that he was a far-right fascist. Those are the words he used, the words echoed by Jack, the CEO, here in his speech.
Right, guys,
far-right fascist from the very beginning.
Today.
And
a large part
should I wait?
of Charlie's
Should I wait?
mission was to bring
keep
people
going?
together across different communities and form a community of conservatives.
And that's the
where everyone
evidence.
can
The
network
evidence
with each
is
other.
the broadcast.
So
The evidence is what they said on air, and they never apologised for that. That's what I would say.
Most people here are in London.
Now we know that apparently, just slightly moving topic, we know recently Keir Starmer, Labour's Keir Starmer, our Prime Minister, now wants to introduce digital IDs to combat illegal immigration. Do you think he's doing the right thing, or do you think it's for a different reason, which some might say could be more sinister?
Okay, so the reason why he's impacted in enforcing digital IDs, which he probably won't even get past because the petition's gone way over 1 million, probably lose his job before he can get digital IDs in practice. But the reason he's doing that is because he wants more control and not actually because he wants to close the borders and stop illegal immigration. If he did that, he would have done tougher border controls. He would have not allowed for residency in the UK people who don't even have any documentation here or any proof to show that they're not criminals in their previous country and they're just trying to start a new life here. He could have done that, but he didn't. He's doing this so he can get more control over us digitally, because if he gets a hold of us digitally, he can centralise all of our data. And I don't want them to have that much data on me.
Thank you. And just thinking, what else? Do you have any message to those who are sort of sitting on the fence from your perspective and watching the TV still and various stuff online and all sorts.
They're using your money to spread lies about you. The BBC is using your taxpayer money to spread lies about your religion, your values, and your way of life. I know you're distracted. I know it's easier to scroll on TikTok, but we need to show them that we're serious about how much this affects us. And we're not going to tolerate it. This is a Christian country. Have some respect for the Christian man, Charlie Kirk. That's what I would say.
Thank you very much for your time on camera. Very good to meet you. Louis, nice to meet you. Thank you. Cheers.
Who's behind the assassination of Charlie Kirk? There's increasing evidence
Not too
Israel,
sure.
Israel and Mossad are behind it.
Do you want to stay on camera?
No, I don't want to be on camera.
So it's interesting what you say. I cover everything in London, but what do you think about it yourself personally?
Well, there's some evidence that Israel and Mossad were behind it, yeah? Because he was changing his views on support for Israel. And some people didn't like it, so they took him out. Yeah? Because he commands a very big sort of following amongst the youth. And it's the youth that are now changing their attitude towards Israel, America's support for Israel. And very soon after he was assassinated, Netanyahu sent him condolences. Very quick. One of the first world leaders to send condolences. So what has he got in it for? So there's a lot of unanswered questions, yeah.
And in terms of this going on, I gather you're very skeptical about the whole thing and what you look into it as well. So you're very skeptical about it. And what sources of information do you look at to see that point of view as well?
Horse and groom.
No, there was you can look it up on YouTube. There was some, I think about a 30-minute discussion between John Mearsheimer and one of the leading experts also on this issue. And they went through like a 20 to 30-minute discussion on why it is not in Israel's interest for Charlie Kirk to turn against them because he has such a huge following. And they may have taken him out because he was starting to turn and find out exactly what is really going on. So if he changes the youth, obviously that is against Israel's interests. So Mossad is active all over, yeah. I mean, the JFK files are still declassified. They're still not classified. They're still classified. They haven't declassified them. And there's good evidence that Mossad and Israel took out JFK as well. Plenty. I mean, 9/11 also is not squeaky clean, yeah. 9/11, the FBI arrested about 8 so-called Middle Eastern speaking people. They were all released without charge by the FBI. No charges filed. So there's a lot of evidence, there's a lot of smoke. And some people create false flag operations to try and create this global war on terror, which is what 9/11 was. I believe October 7th was a false flag operation to greenlight what they're doing in Gaza so that they can have a final solution for Palestine, final solution from the Israeli point of view, to obliterate it. But, you know, Netanyahu is known for false flag operations. He has been, in fact, he predicted the Twin Towers coming down a couple of months before they came down. How did he know that? He even said, he's on camera, you can see. He says, like, he watched Islamic terrorists will one day bring the Twin Towers down. I mean, really? How does somebody know like that 2 to 3 months before the Twin Towers came down? Also, when the planes were going into the Twin Towers, there was a family watching from afar, and they were standing by the window, the parents and the daughter, and spontaneously the mother says, "Oh my God, it's a military plane." So how does a military plane go into the Twin Towers? You think somebody would shout that spontaneously? No. That plane was unmarked. It was basically a military style plane which was green. You know, a camouflage color like green, going into the building. A lot of unanswered questions. Yeah?
So do you think with the ongoing issues around the world, especially the Middle East, do you think the concerns that you raise should be looked into more widely, especially in the media and also in the mainstream media?
Yeah, mainstream media basically push the Zionist line. Yeah? And I think it's a great disfavor to the world that they've been doing that. I mean, October 7th didn't happen in a vacuum. October 7th happened after about 17 to 18 years of brutal siege occupation, which the Israelis from time to time went in and so-called massacred people there. And they even got a term for it. They say they're mowing the lawn. Yeah? They've been doing that for 17 years. Where were mainstream media then? Where was the world leaders then to try and stop the siege of Gaza? Where were they then? So October 7th was a breakout operation by Hamas against resisting their brutal occupation. And I mean, where were the world leaders then? Where was mainstream media then? Tony Blair has now been appointed as a so-called new administrator with Trump to try and oversee the Gaza reconstruction and administration. I mean, this is crazy, yeah? Tony Blair was Middle East envoy for more than 10 years. He did nothing. He did nothing to try and stop the siege of Gaza and the occupation of Palestine. The root cause is the occupation of Palestine. If you occupy somebody's land, you demolish their homes, you displace them, there is going to be resistance. And I think mainstream media and governments are doing the wrong thing by designating Hamas as a terrorist organization. They also designated Nelson Mandela as a terrorist. And then afterwards, everybody turned around and said, no, he was a freedom fighter. So designating people terrorists when they're fighting legitimately for their rights is the wrong thing to do, which is what causes problems. If mainstream media reports honestly, we wouldn't have this kind of thing. Yeah? And they need to be honest and say, look, let's report honestly instead of pushing one line. So you can't designate somebody as terrorists when they're fighting for their land. Can you designate the Ukrainian terrorists because they're fighting against Russia? No. Russia invaded Ukraine. Ukraine has a legitimate right to defend itself. And so why is it different for the Palestinians? The Palestinians are the conscience of the nation. They're fighting for their very existence, which is why we are in a situation we are in. I mean, Israel is the fourth largest army and most powerful army in the world, yeah? And these guys don't have tanks, they don't have airplanes, they've got base small arms, and it's a resistance. So no matter how much you try to designate them as terrorists, we need to understand why these people did what they did. Everybody thinks, no, things started on October 7th. This brutal occupation has been going on since 1948. You can go and look at the evidence of Tantura. You can look at the massacre of Deir Yassin. You can look at the endless massacres that Palestinians have endured. Endless. I mean, even in the West Bank, over 1,100 people have been killed there since October 7th. West Bank is totally disconnected from Gaza. Why are people in the West Bank killed? Why are homes demolished? Why is it? And the world allows it. And they say Israel is a democracy and a beacon of civilization in the Middle East. It's nonsense. It is not. Everybody's been pushing this line that Israel is the only democracy in the Middle East. Absolute nonsense. And this is what mainstream media does. Yeah? And all mainstream media are guilty of this. So I think it's time we address the truth because there'll be a lot more peace in the world. I mean, the Palestinians and the Arab nations have recognized Israel as it stands to the 1967 borders that they've said over 20 years ago. You have your borders, move out to 1967 lines, and we have our own. They refuse. And then everybody lies about it and say the Palestinians don't recognize Israel's right to exist. They want to obliterate us. Who's obliterating whom? The narrative is wrong here. The Palestinians, give them their land, give them their homeland, and I guarantee you they will live in peace with Israel. There will be no need to attack. There will be no need to attack Israel if they're given their rights. And Israelis will live in peace, and so will the Palestinians live in peace. Yeah?
So do you believe in a two-state solution yourself with all of this going on, or would you like to see something different in this? Or are you also, and another question, what do you think of Donald Trump's and Netanyahu's deal for the Middle East, their peace deal?
Well, it's not really a deal. It's one-sided. I mean, the Palestinians are not involved. So how can there be peace when the main people who are suffering are not involved? I mean, does Palestine decide who should be governing the UK? No. Why are Western leaders still in this colonial mindset where they're deciding who should rule the Palestinians? It is racist. It is fascist. It is not honest. You can't do this in the modern world. The Palestinians have their own right to choose the people that they want to govern. It is not for Israel to decide that they can obliterate all the leadership and then put in a Western-style government. Just like it is not for Hamas to decide we're going to wipe out most of the Israeli leaders and we're going to put in somebody that doesn't attack us. It doesn't work like that. So why is it good for one person, not for the other? Trump and Tony Blair's record in the Middle East is abysmal. I mean, he went into the Iraq war, there were no WMDs, and how many thousands of people died? Is the Middle East a better place after the Iraq war? The answer is no. And this is what they're doing. The answer, war does not make people better. War does not make countries better. We need to understand each other, we need to respect each other's rights, and that's what it is. West Bank and Gaza is only about 22% of Palestine, original Palestine. Even then, the Palestinians have said, okay, fine. We got 22% up to the 1967 borders. We are prepared to live in this, and we will recognize Israel. Why does the mainstream media lie about it? They've already recognized Israel's right to exist. And that's very magnanimous of them. You know, why should Palestinians pay for the crimes of the Holocaust, which was committed by Europeans in Germany and in Eastern Europe? Why should they pay for it? It is not their making that they should pay for the crime that Europe committed. And to give away somebody's land that is not yours and then carve it up, that is racist, that is colonial. And until we don't address the truth, you will not get peace, yeah? People will resist.
Thank you so much for your time on camera, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And thanks. Thank you for your time.
Where are you going to put this on?
It's on YouTube. So I cover all sorts of protests and stuff.
Okay.
I cover, yeah. What's it called? Okay. Text me the message.
I'm a Middle East follower for decades.
Interesting. Yeah. So I cover all sorts of protests in London. So you'll see the channel online.
Yeah.
So
No one speaks enough about that. On your down.
feel free to take photo. That's the protest. Very well, yeah. Feel free to take photos if you want. The channel name. I'm covering a massive
Palestine is actually a very nice people. People worldwide destroying such a good yeah, we had an official meeting.
Thank you very much for that. Cheers. Nice talking to you. How are you? Do you want to say some stuff to the camera? Okay. About today's. Just set it up. Should we get the BBC in the background? Okay. Just set this up. Stand further back slightly. Okay. So in terms of today, you came down to the BBC to protest. Why were you protesting earlier? Source of camera. Go for it.
Because Charlie Kirk wasn't far right, and they called him far right, and that's slanderous, and he can't talk back because he's dead. And it's much easier to kick him when he's dead, isn't it? Same with all of us. They come for all of us. It's easier to come after us after that, isn't it?
Guys, stop heading to the pub.
Very good, thank you.
What's the name of it again? What's the name of it again, Jack?
Sorry?
Horse and Groom. Horse and Groom. Why would that be?
Sorry, one second. Thank you very much. Sorry?
We're moving.
You're doing a protest tomorrow, or what time and where? Okay, is it same place? Okay, so let me just tell my viewers, live on air. Okay, so everyone on the live chat, we just got some information that there will be a planned protest outside the Pakistan High Commission tomorrow between 2 and 5 p.m. And once again, it's to do with Kashmir and what's going on in Kashmir in that country. So there was a planned protest tomorrow between 2 and 5 p.m. So we'll be there live and direct on YouTube. Anyway, thank you very much for that. That's very kind. Thank you. Cheers. Thank you. See you tomorrow. Cheers. Oh, Kashmir protest. Yes, we have information once again on a protest outside the Pakistan High Commission, and it's to do with Kashmir. Yep.
Horse and groom, yeah?
Horse and groom?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you going there as well? Yeah. Do you want to do a quick summary of today? Yeah. So, do you want to walk and talk?
Okay.
To be fair, that's quite nice, walking and talking. Let me just...
As long as it's smooth.
It will be.
For the viewers.
It's a very stable camera. But yeah, we just got the light, just getting dark now.
Yeah.
Anyway. Go ahead. Fire on.
So yeah, we were protesting outside the BBC today. I wasn't here for the memorial. I think it was last Sunday, but I was here for the memorial by 10 Downing Street a couple of weeks ago, and the turnout was really good. I noticed the crowd is very much the same kind of crowd, like citizen journalists, because of the nature of coming out and debating people. It attracts the same kind of people. Debating on college campuses it attracts people that want to debate, and it attracts people that are okay with having a different sense of views. Citizen journalists, pretty much every citizen journalist that I've met doing activism and stuff was there at the memorial, and it was great to see it. It was great to see so many familiar faces. But of course the BBC isn't citizen journalism, is it? It's mainstream media, and it's biased media, and it's more or less, you can see it quite clearly, it's antithetical to the platforms that have been built off of other platforms. Citizen journalism has been built off of free speech platforms like X. If it wasn't for X, we wouldn't have the news that we have. I mean, as far as I'm aware, the reason why Elon Musk bought X, as far as I heard, was because anti-natalists, their opinions were festering on X. People that think that having children is immoral. Obviously, Elon Musk has been very clear that he's against that and against that ideology. But the issue was not with the anti-natalists. It was with people trying to respond to anti-natalists and then being censored by Twitter, trying to respond to them. And that has pretty much died out now. But platforms like this are still trying. Doing their editing, doing their information gathering. Ministry of Truth vibes. Becoming more like that by the day. But
also, I have a question,
yeah.
Noah. So, what are your thoughts on the rise of independent freelance media such as myself, who come from a neutral perspective, who tend to cover all sorts of protests and events ranging from all sorts of political angles?
I think it will be the death of them. Metaphorically speaking, of course.
Well, but I'm neutral and I cover everything and it's doing well.
Yeah, and they don't.
The BBC?
The BBC doesn't. The BBC doesn't cover things
Your thoughts
neutrally.
on neutral journalism?
My thoughts on neutral journalism. I think it should be promoted. I think that if you look at the deepest levels that I can describe it, in comparison with which is scripturally in terms of my faith, in terms of the faith, people are upset with Christ for what he said, and they tried to censor him. You can see scripturally, the point of contention was the Pharisees got tired of what Christ was saying to them and his charitable criticism of them, and they said, we've had enough, we need to deal with this man. And that is at the essence of what this is. As what the essence of the faith is preaching the gospel as an act of charity, even if it's critical, and especially when it's critical of people that do not want to be criticized because of sin and because of wrongdoing. It is an act of charity, and shining a light on that is equally as important. And so it's imperative for citizen journalists to maintain a non-bias so that the truth can get across. That's what Speaker's Corner and places of free speech and dialogue and apologetics and polemics and conversation are for. That's what these things are for. And I think for citizen journalists, I say more power to you. I'd recommend using platforms like Nodal. I've mentioned Nodal before on this platform, on Louis' platform before. Click up because the thing is you've got issues like what happened on the United Kingdom march, where the police used old footage. They used old footage of a previous protest and previous clashes between protesters and police, and they used that when it was from 2022 or something, and you can't easily verify that unless somebody knows and they can comment on it. And these big monopolized social media and media and news platforms can just spread false information. And in spite of this, when you have platforms like X and YouTube for what it's good for as well, you can get this information across. And I think that's really important. I think that should be taken advantage of. But I think equally, alongside that comes security and comes protection, you know? One of the reasons why crypto is really good and why crypto journalism and all that kind of stuff is really good is security can help provide and protect freedom. Charlie Kirk, in an ideal world, would have had the security that had prevented what happened to him from happening. Security is really important when you want to preserve freedoms. Like, I've heard before Jordan Peterson talking about like Eden being a walled garden. Freedom has to come with the security that provides and secures the freedom. And freedoms are fought for. Charlie Kirk fought for freedoms which Americans have lived and died for, rights and freedoms that British people died for, that our nation, that our soldiers fought and died for and continue to fight and die for. And it's really important that that is acknowledged and that's preserved and then that's continued. And that it's appreciated enough that people understand the value of it and seek to continue it. And we are going to continue with providing security. We're going to continue with trying to fight and push for freedom for people, freedom of faith, freedom of conscience. And that's at the essence of what Charlie Kirk stood for, was going out and engaging. In my mind, that was also as in a preservation of those freedoms, a preservation of dialogue and the ability to dialogue. Like he said, when people stop talking to each other, that's when you get violence, that's when you get civil war, that's when you get issues. That's when people think that they can no longer talk and where they think that they can demonize the other side because they don't know what they actually think because they don't talk to them. And it's become more apparent since then that one side is much more interested in dialogue and the other side is much more interested in silencing dialogue. And that disparity has to be pushed and has to be divided more. It's time to cut the wheat from the chaff. It's time to see who wants peace and who doesn't, and who wants peaceful dialogue and who wants non-violence and who doesn't.
Thank you very much for that, Noah, and very much appreciated. Cheers. I'm going to wrap up. Give me a second. Okay, we're going to be ending the live broadcast now. We did 3 interviews, some of them differing views from one another, which was very interesting. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be live and direct tomorrow outside the Pakistan High Commission, covering the Kashmir protest to do with the ongoing situation over there. So thank you for tuning in, and I hope to see you all on the next live broadcast tomorrow. We'll be live and direct between 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. So stay tuned by hitting the bell notification button so you stay notified when I go live. Thank you. My name's Louis Errington. I'm an independent journalist. Take care, everyone, and good night. Have a lovely evening. See you all tomorrow.